Today I'm going to start with the very important novel that is Pride and Prejudice. So Pride and Prejudice was originally entitled First Impressions. From here, you can start any of your answers, irrespective of whatever they are asking. In the very first line, they will understand that you have the knowledge of this also. So this was originally entitled First Impressions, and when the novel was revised, when the novel was recast, it was given the title. It is bearing, that is Pride and Prejudice. So the present title is so appropriate that it hardly needs any defense, or we can say any justification. And all that one can do is to explain its significance. So Jane Austen is not a psychological novelist. Her forte, उसका forte क्या है? Her forte is the delineation of social manners. These are the words, the lines which you have to write it down. But by giving her novel the title Pride and Prejudice, she does indicate her interest in the delicate psychological study of the interaction of the human emotions, like we have seen in the great novel Pride and Prejudice. Now, if we talk about this novel at a very superficial level, Darcy embodies pride. On his very first appearance in the novel, he is declared to be the, अगर आपको याद है तो उसमें क्या डिक्लेयर किया गया है इसको कोट एंड कोट में, द प्राउडेस्ट मोस्ट disagreeable man in the world. Quote unquote, may you can write these lines. And I don't remember the name exactly. हाँ याद आ गया, विक्रम. विक्रम याद है आपको? Wickam. Wickham tells Elizabeth that almost all of the Darcy's actions may be traced to pride. इसीलिए नाम देखिए pride है. But he analyzes it as filial pride. कैसा pride? Filial, Filial. His pride in his father now dead, and as brotherly pride, his pride in his sister Georgina. In an ironic tone, Wickham adds that this pride has often been his best friend. Now, what happens here, according to Darcy himself, his pride consisted in being selfish, consisted in being overbearing. If somebody has read the entire novel, you can go to the chapter uh, 40, 43, 43, I think, looking uh, retrospectively over his past behavior, he tells Elizabeth that he was taught good principles, but was left to follow them in pride and conceit. Conceit वही वाला है, metaphysical conceit. Conceit. So he was left to follow in pride and conceit. His parents had allowed him, almost encouraged him, to be selfish, to be overbearing, to care for none beyond his family circle, to think mainly of all the rest of the world, to wish at least to think mainly of their sense and worth compared to his own. And you can also see in the chapter 34, you can write it down. In chapter 34, when Darcy makes his first proposal to Elizabeth, he is an eloquent on the subject of tenderness as of pride. His pride, uh, word है, preludes his judgment. He remains blind to the faults of the Lady Catherine and Miss Bingley, and is prepared to think mainly of those beneath him in social standing till he is made to recognize his moral blindness by Elizabeth. So students, अगर आपने इसको ठीक से पढ़ा है novel, so each and every word and sentence will be very clear as per this question appropriateness, because बीच बीच में आपको ये बताना पड़ेगा एग्जामिनर को कि how this is appropriate. बार बार एग्जामिनर को ये फील कराना होगा. Now, Darcy's pride about Elizabeth when he turns down a suggestion by Bingley to dance with Elizabeth with a very humiliating remark. And what was that remark? आप यहाँ पे quote and quote में लिख सकते हैं, she is not handsome enough to tempt me. ये बहुत जरूर है, इसको लिख दीजिएगा. She is not handsome enough to tempt me, quote unquote. So she instantaneously gets prejudiced against him. देखिए यहाँ पे वर्ड आ गया prejudice, इसको अंडरलाइन कर लेंगे. She instantaneously gets prejudiced against him, and as her remarks to Charlotte reveal, she resolves to hate him. Now, what happens? Darcy's confession of his implacability at Netherfield. Netherfield में उसकी जो implacability थी, उसमें वो कहता है, I cannot forget the follies and vices of others as soon as I ought, nor their offences against myself. My good opinion, once lost, is lost forever. ये भी लाइन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. My good opinion, once lost, is lost forever. इससे क्या होता है, डैश करके आप लिख देंगे, deepens her prejudice, and she now begins willfully to misinterpret all his utterances, all his actions. अगर हम own judgment, एलिजाबेथ की जो प्रेजुडिस है, क्लाउड हर्स. यूजुअली क्या होता है, परसिपिएंट जो होता है, यूजुअली परसिपिएंट he fails to detect the impropriety of Wickham's slanderous statements about Darcy and the incongruities मतलब होता है जो कमियां हैं, जो 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 पिटफॉल्स हैं, इसको बोलते हैं लिटरेचर के टर्म में incongruities. So, and the incongruities inherent in them, inherent मतलब जो छुपे हुए हैं, and willingly allows herself to be imposed upon. So complete is her trust in Wickham that she readily declares Darcy to be abominable. 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 And this process of self-discovery starts at Rosings, Rosings. Darcy, embarrassed by the vulgarity of his aunt, Lady Catherine, acquires a new vision of life. Now, what happens? His complacent belief in the refinement of his own circle had already received a dent from Caroline Bingley's hypocrisy and selfishness. Lady Catherine's ill breeding makes him realize that refinement of manners is actually no monopoly of the elite, nor their depravity the being of the low. Uh, his rejection at the hands of Elizabeth proves to him the, the futility of the acquirements he had been priding him. जिस पे वो घमंड कर रहा था. There must be something seriously wrong with his values if they could not prove adequate uh, enough to please a woman worthy of being pleased. He was proud in the beginning, but he is completely humble. So, I think यहाँ तक आपको क्लियर हो गया पूरा लेक्चर एकदम. नाउ यहाँ पे आगे आता है कि जो डार्सी का रोल है in the Lydia Wickham episode. Lydia means this. Lydia Wickham. Darcy's role in the Lydia Wickham episode proves that he has completely shed his pride, or else he would not have assented to get involved in the Bennet's disgrace and have for his brother-in-law the man he most despises. Despises मतलब होता है घृणा करना, detest करना. Elizabeth's recognition that Darcy was exactly the man who, in disposition and talents, would most suit her suggests that her initial prejudice against him is over and time is now ripe for them to get married. अब समय आ चुका है कि उनकी शादी हो जाए. However, it would be an oversimplification of the novel to assume that Pride and Prejudice refer exclusively to Darcy and Elizabeth. And the fact is that Darcy and Elizabeth are proud as well as prejudice. These are all the sentences which will make you get 9 out of 10. Elizabeth Darcy is proud of his social superiority. ये लिखिएगा कि जो डार्सी है उसको घमंड है अपने सोशल सुपीरियरिटी का, अपने रिफाइनमेंट का, एंड इट इज दिस प्राइड of his that leads him to a journal prejudice against the rural gentry much beneath him in social hierarchy. Elizabeth is proud of her perception, her superior personality, the sharpness of her intellect. Her prejudice against Darcy stems from her sense of hurt pride. अगर आपको चैप्टर 5 याद हो, in chapter 5 when Charlotte says that Darcy has a right to be proud, Elizabeth क्या कहती है? Elizabeth कहती है quote unquote में, I could easily forgive his pride if he had not mortified mine. और अगर चैप्टर 36 की बात करें, when she reflects over the contents of Darcy's letter, she again refers to her vanity. And in the proposal scene, Darcy accuses him of prejudice. And she tells him that he has been prejudiced against Wickham, against Jane, and in general against anything that does not fit into his social scenario or social world. In turn, बदले में, Darcy tells her that she would not have been so adamant had not your pride been hurt by my honest confession. And this ironic reversal also points to the fact that both of them are guilty of both pride and prejudice. Clear? So this entire lecture would actually make you supersonic कि कोई भी क्वेश्चन आ गया, पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है. अब कैसा भी क्वेश्चन आ जाए, you can manage it and take all these phrases, all these words, all these diction to write any answer, क्योंकि अब आपके सब कॉन्शियस में वो बात चली गई जो मैंने आपको पढ़ाया. Am I right? कोई कुछ पूछना चाहेंगे?
नहीं सर, बीच में मैं यही बोलना चाह रही थी कि that I would agree that Elizabeth also is she also has the flaw of being proud, and Darcy is also prejudiced because a lot of accounts do not mention this. They see Elizabeth only as being prejudiced and Darcy only being as proud.
Yes, तो कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो गया ना आपको एकदम,
Yes, sir.
है ना? ऐसे आप लिखेंगे, जो कोट अनकोट मैंने बताया दोबारा सुन करके उसको नोट भी कर लीजिएगा. इट विल एक्चुअली गिव यू गुड मार्क्स.
Okay, sir.
हाँ, आज ऑडियो एकदम अच्छी आ रही है, तो ऐसे ही सेटअप आगे के लिए रखिएगा. ऐसे हमारे कह रहे हैं राजपूत सर, ठीक है? अब हम लोग चलते हैं, इसको मिटा देते हैं. अब जो हम क्वेश्चन आपके साथ लेके आ रहे हैं, दैट इज, लिख लीजिए, जेन ऑस्टन इज द मोस्ट परफेक्ट ड्रामेटिस्ट. जेन ऑस्टन इज, अच्छा लग सकता है, ये लीजिए. मेरी स्पीड तो ठीक है ना? क्यों सुकृति?
हाँ जी सर.
फाइन. आज थोड़ा फीवर है तो स्पीड कम है.
So it's okay. I think कल आपको ब्रेक ले लेनी चाहिए.
चलो, जिम्मेदारी है तो. हाँ, लिखा दिया, लिखे, लिखना पड़ेगा. अच्छा, बोल दीजिए राजपूत, क्या लिखा है? जेन ऑस्टन is the most who wrote a play and
This is this statement. This is statement with special reference to the medical pride.
ठीक है, PNP. देखिए सुकृति, Jane Austen is the most perfect dramatist who never wrote a play. discuss this statement with special reference to her pride and prejudice. ये क्वेश्चन जो है क्या आप लिख पाएंगी एज अ होमवर्क?
जी सर।
है, लिख पाएंगी?
जी।
चलिए, तो इसको आप इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लीजिए और हाँ, ले लिया?
हाँ जी।
ठीक है, ये आपका होमवर्क रहेगा। अब इसको हटा रहे हैं, नहीं हटा रहे। हाँ, नाउ द क्वेश्चन व्हिच आई एम गोइंग टू टीच इज दिस। आपको होमवर्क दे दिया मैंने, जस्ट राइट 200 वर्ड्स और 300 वर्ड्स। लिखिए, Jane Austen's women are more searching and lifelike than her men. Jane Austen's women Jane Austen's women are more searching and lifelike. And lifelike. ये देखिए, more searching and lifelike than her men. ये क्वेश्चन है, than her men. Quote unquote ये हो गया ऐसे. Now, the question is discuss with special reference to pride and prejudice. अब आपके मन में बहुत सारे थॉट्स आ रहे होंगे कि इसमें क्या हमें लिखना है। आपके मन में जो भी थॉट्स आ रहे होंगे उसको अपने मन में सोचते रहिएगा और हम आपको ये लेक्चर दे रहे हैं आपको, ठीक है? Now, see, Jane Austen had a great insight into the working of women's mind. Just listen this sentence properly. She had a great insight into the working of women's mind. She could accurately perceive and forcefully portray a woman's responses, a woman's conflicts within the circumscribed existence of a patriarchal society that exerted enormous social and economic pressure on her. Though her creative years coincided with the flowering of romanticism in England, यहाँ से connection दीजिएगा history का. Though her creative years coincided with the flowering of the romanticism in England, she had her roots in which century? In the 18th century, conservative society in which men enjoyed their dominance. यहाँ पे देखिए history का part आ रहा है. In which men enjoyed their dominance and were unwilling to loosen their hold, while women had not yet acquired sufficient autonomy to challenge their hold. Her women are intelligent to that extent that they realize their limitations and function within them. Their role is defined by an awareness of their plight and their self-preservatory instinct. Occasionally, they are self-deceived, victims of their misconceptions like Emma and Elizabeth, but even then, they impress the reader with a certain kind of mental sharpness which redeems them quite in time and not much damage is done to their reputation. जैसा मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया, अभी थोड़ी देर पहले, it is a patriarchal society in which women are forced to look for security only within marriage. Daughters are denied economic rights, even to the extent of being deprived of the security of parental property in the event of the father's demise. For it is made amply clear that Mr. Bennet's estate is entitled to Mr. Collins, and the moment Mr. Bennet dies, the family will immediately find itself on the road. Mrs. Bennet neither forgets this fact herself nor allows anyone else to forget it. आपको याद होगा एक कैरेक्टर है Charlotte Lucas. Charlotte Lucas, with her father, able to afford a very moderate living, is aware that economic security is more important than marital bliss. And knowingly, जानबूझ करके accept the security offered by a pompous buffoon. You understand the meaning of buffoon? Lydia may be stupid in other matters, but she knows the importance of the privilege of writing Mrs. with her name. जो हमारे हिंदुस्तान में बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट प्रक्रिया है कि नाम के आगे मिसेस जुड़ जाए तो हम सेफ हो जाते हैं, बट it is sad to see that in our country now it is just the opposite. Do you agree? मिसेस लगने से और प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं. This is the new age.
Yes, sir.
We will discuss more about it later on. All these women are intelligent enough to understand the compulsions of the situation. But the women in Pride and Prejudice possess that stupidity also in abundance. Mrs. Bennet, Lady Catherine, Lydia, Caroline Bingley are intelligent to know where their interest lies. But the pathetic vulgarity of their behavior is leading them into sad consequences. Mrs. Bennet's anxiety to force Jane Bingley relationship virtually drives Bingley away from the scene. Caroline Bingley, where she is eager to please and win Darcy over, succeeds only in alienating him, उसको अकेला करने में, and her efforts to degrade Elizabeth in his eyes uh, with his interest in her. Now, Lady Catherine, overconfident of her bullying powers, tries to browbeat Elizabeth and later reports her arrogance to nobody but Darcy. ये जो moves है ना, ये जो चाल चल रहे हैं चेस की चाल, these moves are proving to be self-defeating and bring Elizabeth and Darcy close to each other. So the women involved in these episodes do reveal their single-minded concern for their self-interest, but do not show any high degree of intelligence. So, while portraying these women like that, the novelist definitely proves to be very, very intelligent. Now, Elizabeth Bennet's mental powers merit special discussion. She is certainly sharp, undoubtedly. In fact, the sharpness of her mind stands out in comparison with other women in the novel. Whether it is Caroline's crude manipulations or Darcy's sharp comments garnished with his pride, she is quick to understand them and deal with them in a very spiritedly manner. But whenever she is personally involved, sadly enough, her intelligence gets blurred and she loses her perspective. Thus, initially, she misjudges both Darcy and Wickham. Her prejudice against Mr. Darcy blinds her to his virtues and her prejudice in favor of Wickham, who renders her incapable of seeing through his unprincipled and uh, duplicitous behavior. Duplicitous मतलब होता है double. The male character of Pride and Prejudice are certainly less convincing than the female characters. How? Because they are a little too entrenched in their stances. Their outlines are a little too well defined, and as a result, they are vivid. But what they gain in terms of vividness, they lose in terms of being realistic. The female characters are certainly more appealing than the male ones. So this is the entire uh, the discussion on this topic. Clear?
So, do we have to agree with this statement if it comes in the exam?
यस मतलब याद रखिएगा कि यूपीएससी क्वेश्चंस में जो पूछा गया है उसके अगेंस्ट आपको नहीं जाना है. आपको वहां पे अपनी स्कॉलरशिप नहीं लगानी है. आप यहाँ नहीं लिख सकते कि नहीं मैंने तो ऐसे सोचा. Why? Because the examiner has not given this power to you. What the question is asking, you have to prove. भले आपको गलत लगे. मान लीजिए क्वेश्चन में कहा कि हमारा पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी है, विमेन आर सुपीरियर, आपने लिख दिया नो नो विमेन आर मच इंफीरियर. मतलब उसका अपोजिट आप जाना चाह रहे हो और प्रूफ करना चाह रहे हो. ऐसा ना करिएगा.
Okay.
What they are asking, चाहे वो सही हो चाहे गलत हो, you just lines which are totally showing that this is the relevant portion. don't beat about the bush at all,
Okay.
because they check the answers with a lens. Fine. So we cannot make them be fooled. We cannot befool them, rather.
Okay, sir.
Just hold it. हाँ. कौन सा क्वेश्चन लेना है? लेकिन एक क्वेश्चन और था मेरे दिमाग में. आज एक्चुअली मैं जल्दी में आ गया, मैंने उसमें लिखा नहीं. एक क्वेश्चन है सुकृति, इसको लिखिए जरा. राइट ए क्रिटिकल लिखिए. सर वॉल्टर रिले wrote of Jane Austen. सर वॉल्टर रिले को तो जानते होंगे, है ना? Wrote of Jane Austen, quote unquote, sympathy with her characters she frequently has, comma, identity never. Again, I am repeating the question. Sir Walter Raleigh wrote of Jane Austen, quote unquote, sympathy with her characters she frequently has, comma, identity never, quote unquote. Do you agree with this view? Now, I'm asking you, what is the question?
So it seems to me to be about relatability of her characters. If a character, if the audience can relate with the characters that she has drawn, and more importantly, the protagonist Elizabeth.
Correct.
I would actually not agree with this because I do identify with Elizabeth and a lot of characters, and even Charlotte Lucas. She has been shown as a person who compromises and who is not who does not have integrity. But even then, one sympathizes with her and identifies with her because one does have to somehow make compromises and accept one's circumstances when there are not a lot of options allowed to us.
Fine. तो ये आपका अपना है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे देखिए पूछा है डू यू एग्री विद दिस व्यू.
Yeah.
आप यहाँ पे एग्री करो भी या ना करो, ये आपका
ये अलाउड है.
यहाँ पे अलाउड है,
ठीक है.
क्योंकि यहाँ पे इन्होंने ब्लैंक आपके लिए छोड़ दिया है. ठीक है. अब इसका आंसर हमसे सुनिए कि जेन ऑस्टन, हाँ लिखा नहीं, लिख देंगे, टाइम लग जाएगा.
कोई बात नहीं सर, मैंने लिख लिया है.
ठीक है सर. वॉल्टर रिले
वॉल्टर रिले वाला क्वेश्चन आपने लिख लिया. ठीक ना. इसका आंसर सुनिएगा. जेन ऑस्टन उन बहुत कम नॉवेलिस्ट में से एक है who have tried to achieve the essential objectivity. मैंने क्या बताया? To achieve the essential objectivity and impartiality in the delineation of their characters. Her worldview is essentially ironic. She is an amused observer of the follies and the whimsicalities and the incongruities and the contradictions of human behavior, and she depicts with irreproachable candor whatever she observes. Though it is possible for any intelligent reader to derive from her novels a set of moral values she would have liked to recommend as conducive to a healthy relationship between an individual and society, no explicit statement of any moral philosophy is to be found in her novels. Hence, she does not feel the need of giving her own identity to any of her characters and to make it her mouthpiece. उसको जरूरत नहीं कि वो अपनी आइडेंटिटी दे और अपना माउथपीस बनाए. नाउ सर वॉल्टर रिले का यहाँ नाम आना जरूरी है Sir Walter Raleigh suggests that she frequently has sympathy with her characters. But even of this sympathy, she has the barest minimum. She sympathizes with her characters only to the extent of appreciating their emotional build-up, their intellectual creed, their moral outlook, or else she would fail to portray them how realistically. And if the characters are to be made plausible and convincing, they have to be seen from inside. They have to be understood. And this necessitates sympathizing with them. But whatever sympathy she has for her characters is confined to herself. She does not allow it to intrude into the pages of her novels to taint her in art. Sorry, to taint her art. In her novels, she merely states she does not judge. So, she neither despises her characters nor sympathizes with them. ये line important है. She neither despises her characters nor sympathizes with them. Her sympathy does not redeem Mr. Bennet, nor does lack of it condemn his wife. It is with the perfect impartiality that she depicts Mr. Bennet's brilliant wit as well as his cynicism and irresponsibility, Mrs. Bennet's vulgarity, as well as her concern for the well being of her daughters, and she leaves it to her readers to dole out the approvals and the disapprovals as they wish. And Sir Walter Raleigh's second contention is that Jane Austen never identifies with her characters. On the contrary, आपने अगर उसका नाम देखा हो बेकर BAKER Baker has tried to make out a case that in every novel of hers there is at least one female character placed at the center who seems to represent the novelist herself and who is a perceptive spectator and judge to all that is going around her. And according to the same person, Baker, it is Eleanor. Eleanor, ये है Eleanor. आपने पढ़ा होगा. It is Eleanor. Where? It is Eleanor in Sense and Sensibility, Elizabeth in Pride and Prejudice, Anne in Persuasion. Anne. ये नॉवेल में किसमें थी? परसुएशन में. एलिनोर ओपाइंस, अगर हम एलिनोर की बात करें तो एलिनोर अपहोल्ड्स हर क्रिएटर्स फर्स्ट प्रिडिलेक्शन फॉर सेंस. Elizabeth articulates her caustic reflections on the world, wherein Anne, she lays bare her heart and lets out her thought more than anyone else. So, अगर हम फिर से एलिनोर की बात करें तो एलिनोर bears too feeble a similarity with Jane Austen to be said to have an identity with her. She does share Jane Austen's good sense and percipience, but she isn't as sprightly and humorous as Jane Austen was. So Elizabeth has a slightly better claim than Eleanor. She is the favorite of Jane Austen, who is said to have remarked that Elizabeth is as delightful a creature as ever appeared in print. And a number of remarks made by Elizabeth can be easily attributed to Jane Austen herself. Quote unquote में कहा है, intricate characters are the most interesting, quote unquote. Intricate characters are the most interesting, says Elizabeth, and this seems to be the view of Jane Austen also. Again, when Elizabeth tells Darcy, quote unquote में क्या कहती है? I hope I never ridicule what is wise or good. Follies and nonsense, whims and inconsistencies do divert me, I own, and I laugh at them whenever I can, quote unquote close. She appears to be expressing the views of Jane Austen herself. Now, in Anne, the heroine of Persuasion, Jane Austen lays bare some of the secrets of her innermost heart. It is well known that Jane Austen had a disappointment in love, and it is quite possible that Anne's initial frustration in love offers a veiled account of her own affair. And in Anne's eventual fulfillment, Jane Austen believes in her art what she could not achieve in the real life. But apart from these two characters, Jane Austen has identity with none. And even with these, it is only a partial identity. For it would be, you can say, mere preposterousness to assume that Jane Austen herself suffered from all those prejudices suffered in the novel by Elizabeth, nor did she attain fulfillment as Anne does. So uh, this might have helped you to understand this question and rather टू जो आपका कैनवस है इसको समझने का वो और बड़ा हो गया द कैनवस ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस नॉवल हैज बिकम मोर doable, more artistic. My means ki now you can, your pen should not stop. There is a Guru month for qualifying the IAS mains. That the pen, when you start writing the pen, it should not stop till the bell rings. And if the pen is stopping somewhere or the other, मन में ये जान लीजिए कि सिलेक्शन नहीं होगा. This is my research of my 25 years, and it is 100% correct. और पेन न रुकने के लिए आपके पास केवल एक दवा है एंड दैट मेडिसिन इज मोर नॉलेज concentrated knowledge and the subconscious has to be filled with a lot of things and these classes are going to be very effective because you will not forget the voice the discussions and when you are writing the exam this voice will come into your mind and when you will revise these classes, that will all go in with the voice in your storehouse. Am I right? So this will beautifully manage your answers and give a different outlook, different from your other competitors of UPSC means. वहां पे आपको ये नंबर 1 पे लाके खड़ा कर देगा क्योंकि और बच्चे वो चीज नहीं लिख पाएंगे. Fine.
Sir, इस question में I wanted to ask, इसके अंदर relationship between Austen and her novel की जगह relationship between the novel and the reader नहीं है?
रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द नॉवेल रीडर है कहाँ पे? आप हमें बताओ विद
Sir,
एग्जांपल.
क्योंकि नहीं वो तो फिर it depends entirely on the reader. तो reader response theory के basis पे हम यहाँ से
if you
लिखेंगे.
go with the reader response theory, then it is okay. But if you don't go with the reader response theory, then personally I don't feel like. I have read this novel many a times, but Jane Austen और reader में वो चीज जो आप पूछ रही हैं उसमें हमें missing लगा.
सर पर इस कोट में जैसे सर वॉल्टर रेले ने कहा है sympathy with the characters he frequently has, identity never. So doesn't it mean कि he as a reader is talking about his response?
No, here he is not the reader in this response. No.
अच्छा.
No. यहाँ पे वो नहीं है. यहाँ पर reader का मतलब नहीं है.
Okay sir.
हाँ. Clear?
Okay.
Should I go to next question? Any more? कितना
Yes,
समय
sir.
बचा है देखिए वो जूम में अभी है. Okay, let me think. 10 minutes are left in saying. एक क्वेश्चन ये हो सकता है कि one of the important themes in Pride and Prejudice is parenthood. Getting my point?
Yes.
One of the important themes in Pride and Prejudice is parenthood. Now, question is, how is this theme dealt with in the novel? Are you getting something in your subconscious?
Yes sir, the different attitudes of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet.
Yeah.
That one is responsible and one is excessive.
Yes. So, चूंकि 7-8-9 मिनट बचा है हम जल्दी से इसके ऊपर थोड़ा बोल देते हैं. I think this will be a good question for many things. So, यहाँ पे इसको हम ऐसे शुरू कर सकते हैं कि besides love and marriage, the theme of parenthood has also been comprehensively dealt with in Jane Austen's novels, including Pride and Prejudice, मेन्सफील्ड पार्क एंड एमा, ये दोनों का नाम लिख दीजिएगा, मेन्सफील्ड पार्क एंड एमा. Interestingly enough, the writer has particularly focused attention on the destructive effect of the deficient parenthood on the lives of children. Whether it is the superciliousness of the bedroom daughters or the stupid infatuation of the younger daughters of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet with the militia, the responsibility of inadequate upbringing of the children lies squarely with the parents. And if some girls like Jane and Elizabeth in Pride and Prejudice or Fanny Price in Mansfield Park emerge unscathed while facing life challenges, it is by and large a result of their own good sense, to which their parents have hardly contributed anything. Now, coming to the Pride and Prejudice, the theme of parenthood is touched upon quite early in the novel. If you go to the chapter number 7, the novelist talks about the obsessive preoccupation of Catherine and Lydia with the militia regiment. Their aunt, Mrs. Phillips, who is as silly and vulgar as Mrs. Bennet, keeps whetting their passion. और एक दिन क्या होता है, आफ्टर लिसनिंग टू देयर incessant compulsive blabber about the officers, Mr. Bennet coolly observes. अब वो क्या ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, वो कहते हैं कोट एंड कोट में, फ्रॉम ऑल दैट आई कैन कलेक्ट बाय योर मैनर ऑफ टॉकिंग you must be two of the silliest girls in the country. I have suspected it sometime, but I am now convinced. सबसे बेवकूफ तुम लोग हो पूरे पूरे country, quote unquote. So nobody can dispute the truth of Mr. Bennett's observation. But यहाँ पे objectionable क्या है? What is an objectionable is his detachment, his indifference, betrayed by the word coolly. वहाँ पे word लगा है coolly. Betrayed by the word coolly. If two of his daughters behave in an indecorous and foolish manner, inviting censure, surely part of the responsibility lies with him as well. If it is some time he has suspected them to be silly, what effort has he made to mend their behavior? Whenever their silliness disgusts him, he seeks solace in his library, his gardening, conveniently evading his responsibility as a parent. And if Mr. Bennet is indifferent, Mrs. Bennet is indulgent. वो क्या है? Indulgent है. It is from her that these girls have inherited their passion for the officers. For she still remembers the time she liked the red coat herself. In fact, she still has a weakness for it. आज भी उसको weakness है. And instead of warning her daughters of the dangers of this stupid pursuit, she criticizes Mr. Bennet for being harsh towards the girls. गर्ल्स के प्रति हार्श होने के लिए उन्होंने मना किया और कहा, if I wished to think slightingly of anybody's children, it should not be my own. She says rather very curtly, and thus she encourages the girls to be silly.